Hello, fans, and welcome to This Day in Baseball, where we're going to bring you a full radio broadcast of today's game. And before we do that, I just want to thank Classic Baseball Radio, and there's a link in the notes where you can check out their full channel. They have many great radio broadcasts. And while you're listening to today's game, if you want to check out much more about the game and the players, look on the links below, and you're going to see links to player pages, the date the game happened, the year it happened, and the play-by-play. Enjoy the game, and check out the links while you're watching the game, and please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that every time new content comes out, you're going to get that firsthand. And thank you again for checking out This Day in Baseball, and enjoy the game.
Underway with Bobby Klaus landing the first pitch in the year to Willie Davis in center. Don Drysdale trying to win his 18th game of the year against 13 losses. The National League has two 19-game winners now in Larry Jackson and Sandy Koufax. Low and outside to Eddie Kranepool, 1 ball and no strikes. Now Eddie cocks the bat. Down comes the pitch by Drysdale. Low outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Next team coming into Dodger Stadium will be the Pittsburgh Pirates. Then a 4-game series against Philadelphia for the Dodgers. The Phils are here Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Pitch over on the outside corner. It's 2-1. Wes Westrom coaching at first base, and Don Hefner on the lines at third. 2-1 delivery. High fly ball hits a rather short right. Frank Howard drifting in. So is Willie Davis. And in right center, Willie Davis makes the catch. And you can see the white that time as the ball popped up to his fingertips. 2 outs and nobody on. That'll bring up Joe Christopher. Joe hitting at .306. 15 home runs and 71 runs batted in. Mets have been playing without their all-star second baseman, Ron Hunt. Ron has a bad back. Getting a little bit better. He can swing the bat all right, has been taking batting practice. But it's very difficult for him to try and make the plays in the field and try to bend over very much the way the back has been hurting him. Joe Christopher takes the breaking ball on the inside corner. Strike 1 called. George Altman, the left fielder and cleanup batter, waiting on deck. Now Drysdale over the head. Down comes the pitch. A foul ball hit back toward the crowd. Out of play. Temperature will be at around 90 degrees this afternoon here in Southern California. A little bit of smog. However, the skies are a brilliant blue and clear. Not a cloud to be seen anywhere. Very little breeze. Not enough to have any difference in the ball game. Don Drysdale with a 2-strike count. Now delivers to Joe Christopher, inside and high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now the pitch on the way. Inside he lays off and the count even, 2-2. Here are the warm-ups at Candlestick Park for the headline game in the National League between the Phillies and the Giants. Jim Bunning for Philadelphia and Dick Estelle, the rookie left-hander, for the Giants. Estelle broke in, made his first start against the Phillies at Connie Mack Stadium, and pitched a good game. High pop-up down the first baseline. Up the line comes Fairley in foul ground, and he has it. The side is out. Strong first inning for Drysdale. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left on. And the score in the middle of the first inning, the Mets nothing and the Dodgers coming to bat. Now the Dodger first inning, and Maury Wills will be leading off against right-hander Jack Fisher. Maury with 46 stolen bases, moving toward his 5th consecutive National League championship in stolen bases. Maury hitting at .275. Jack Fisher trying for his 11th win of the year in this afternoon's game. Murray, a switch hitter, batting left now against right-hander Jack Fisher. Hits the first pitch on the ground. Run down by Bobby Klaus to peg to first in time. A beauty of a play by Bobby Klaus. Now veteran Jim Gilliam playing third, switch hitter, coming up against Jack Fisher. Beautiful fielding play by Bobby Klaus. He had to go deep in the hole on the right side of the diamond. Now Fisher out of his windup. The pitch, fastball taken high by Gilliam. 1 ball and no strikes. Mets have the infield and the outfield just a stride to right against Gilliam. Fastball by Jack Fisher, a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. The National League pennant race, the Giants and Cardinals 6 games behind the Phils. The Reds dropping to 4th place are now 7 games back, and the Braves 11 games back in 5th place. In the American League, the Orioles start today a game and a half to the good over Chicago and leading the Yankees by 2. However, the Orioles and the Yankees are even in the all-important loss column. Now the 2-1 delivery. And it's inside, ball 3, 3-1 on Jim Gilliam. Willie Davis on deck, and then Tommy Davis. Now Fisher over the head. In comes his pitch. A swing and a miss, and he had plenty of fun on that one. It's all over now in the American League battle between the White Sox and the Indians, and once again Cleveland has thrown a roadblock in front of the White Sox, winning today 5-4. Breaking ball low inside. Gilliam draws the walk. So pending the outcome of the remaining American League ball games involving the pennant contenders, that puts the White Sox 3 games back in the loss column. Final score in the National Football League, the Philadelphia Eagles have jolted the New York Giants 38-7. Rousing start for Joe Cuharic. 1 out and 1 on. The batter is Willie Davis. Pitch thrown to Willie is inside, 1 ball and no strikes. In the National League, aside from the game between Philadelphia and the Giants, the Cardinals lead the Cubs 5-1 at the end of 4 behind Curt Simmons. Cincinnati leading Milwaukee 9-0 after 4.5 innings, trying to snap the Braves' 6-game win streak. Tonight, Pittsburgh will be at Houston. Now the stretch by Fisher. Down comes the pitch to Willie Davis, and it's over at the letters for a call strike. In the American League, the Yankees lead Minnesota 5-2 going to the 9th inning at Yankee Stadium. Ramos relieves Whitey in the 5th inning. Kansas City and the Orioles tied 4-4 at the end of 3 innings. Cleveland beat Chicago 5-4 behind Luis Tiant. Tiant winning his 8th game against only 2 losses. The Red Sox lead the Angels 3-2 going to the 8th inning. Washington 2, Detroit 1 at the end of 6.5. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Willie Davis. 1 out and 1 on. No score last half of inning number 1. There goes Gilliam. Line drive into short center field. It'll be a base hit. Played on a hop by Elliott. The play is going to third base. Not in time, and no chance for Willie Davis. He goes to second on the throw to third. The Dodgers are playing, hit and run, and they make it work. Willie Davis singles to center and winds up on second. He took second on Larry Elliott's throw to third, trying to head off Jim Gilliam. Now runners on second and third, 1 down. The batter is Tommy Davis. We're in the opening inning. The Mets willing to concede a run, playing the infield back, looking for the out to try and cut off that threat of a big inning. The outfield around toward left. Right-hand hitting Tommy Davis takes a fastball on the inside corner, strike one. Well, a real shocker in the NFL this afternoon. The Philadelphia Eagles have beaten the New York Giants 38-7. Cleveland Browns lead the Washington Redskins 20-10 at the end of the third quarter. Los Angeles Rams 26, the Pittsburgh Steelers 7 at the end of the third quarter. Nothing yet on the Colts and the Vikings in Minnesota. Final score, the Cleveland Browns 27 and the Washington Redskins 13. Now Fisher with a two-strike count on Tommy Davis, winds and pitches. A foul ball hit back toward the press box, no play. Cleveland 27, the Redskins 13, that's the final. Another big upset in the prospect in the Rams and Steelers of Pittsburgh. Two-strike delivery to Tommy Davis. A drive hit toward the alley in deep right center field. It's going to be in for an extra base hit. Rolling all the way back to the wall. 2 runs will score. Gilliam and Willie Davis are in, and going to third with a triple, Tommy Davis. Long line drive to deep right center by Tommy Davis. His 5th 3-base hit of the year. He drives 2 runs in. Tommy now, in a hot streak, has driven 71 runs in for the year. Jack Fisher had Tommy Davis 2 strikes, but Tommy hung in there and triples to score 2 runs. Now the Mets play the infield in as Ron Fairley steps in against Jack Fisher. Warm-up action now for the New York Mets. Dennis Ryban, I believe, will start to get ready. Pitch taken outside and high. 1 ball and no strike. It's going to be Bill Wakefield warming up. Dodgers have 2 runs in. We're in the last of the first inning. High pop-up in foul ground outside third. It's playable. Under it is Charlie Smith, and he has it for the out. Now there are 2 away, and that brings up Frank Howard. Big Frank had 4 for 4 in leading the Dodger attack last night. In the American Football League, the Buffalo Bills stunned the Kansas City Chiefs with 31 points in the first quarter and lead at the half 31-3. Later today, the Patriots play the Oakland Raiders in Oakland. Last night, the San Diego Chargers beat the Houston Oilers, and the New York Jets beat the Denver Broncos before almost 45,000 at Shea Stadium. A swing and a miss and a curve, strike 1. It's all over at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees have beaten the Minnesota Twins 5-2. Pedro Ramos, the winning pitcher, he relieved Whitey in the 5th inning. Dick Stigman, the loser. Joe Pepitone hit the game's only home run. Swing and a miss by Frank Howard, and the count, strike 2. So the Yankees now back in the dressing room with a 5-2 win over the Minnesota Twins, will be anxiously watching the outcome of the A's and the Orioles, and the A's have picked up a run in the 4th inning to go in front. They lead Baltimore 5-4 at the end of 3.5. Diego Segui pitching against Steve Barber. Boasfield came on in relief in the 3rd inning of Segui. Now the windup, 2-strike delivery, way outside. Good play by Jesse Gander. Jesse had to lunge out for that. The game last night, Chris Canizero, who has been handling the number 1 backstopping duties, pulled a hamstring muscle, and it was rather severe. He'll probably be out for 2 to 3 weeks. The 1-2 delivery, swing and a miss, he struck him out. Fisher getting Howard on a curveball, and the side is out. Dodgers scored 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 1, the score, the Dodgers 2 and the New York Mets nothing. Now George Altman is the batter facing Don Drysdale, and the pitch by Big D is over, strike one. Drysdale winds and pitches. Bounce foul that hit George on the leg, no play. And another upset in the National Football League. In Pittsburgh, the Los Angeles Rams have beaten the Pittsburgh Steelers 26-14. So the three final NFL scores in right now. The Eagles beat the Giants 38-7. The Browns beat the Redskins 27-13. Rams upending Pittsburgh 26-14. Drysdale winds and pitches outside and high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Dodger outfield just about straight away against George Altman. The 1-2 delivery. Foul ball whacked back over the upright screen and into the sun-bathed crowd on a beautiful afternoon here in Southern California. Last game of the year between the Mets and the Dodgers. The weather has been sunny and warm in Southern California and in the San Francisco Bay Area, where the Mets will be heading following the game today. They are having cold weather. Now Altman cocks the bat, pitch by Drysdale, a grounder, a comebacker, right back to the mound. Drysdale throws to Fairley in time. Don Drysdale, rubber-armed, hard-working, big right-hander, and one of the few remaining Dodgers from the Ebbets Field days, leads the major leagues in games started. Big Don has been out 35 times. Also, he leads in innings pitched. 277 and 2/3. And in complete ball games with 18. Inside ball 1. Drysdale right now is riding a 4-game win streak. High fly by Larry Elliott, hit deep to left and over toward the corner. Back goes Tommy Davis to the railing, and he makes the catch. Tommy Davis ran up against the field box railing by the foul pole to pull in that long fly hit by Larry Elliott. 2 men down. Now Jesse Gander, the batter, against Don Drysdale. Drysdale and Koufax, the great number 1-2 pitchers of the Dodgers staff, both have amazing control. Drysdale has compiled 24 complete games, winning games in his career, in which he did not walk a single man. Now the breaking ball is over. Strike 1 call to Jesse Gander. Next pitch on the way to Jesse. Brushes him back from the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Dodgers needed to attract a little over 26,000 this afternoon to reach the 2 million mark in home attendance. It does not appear that they will pass the 2 million mark today. But they most certainly will pass it in their next game against the Pirates. Grounded down the first baseline, just hit slow, fielded by Drysdale. He flips to Fairley in time, and the side is out. Mets go out in order in the second. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. And the score at the end of an inning and a half. The Dodgers 2 and the New York Mets nothing. At Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, the Birds of Hank Bauer picked up a run in the last of the 4th inning, and that game has been tied once again. Kansas City 5 and Baltimore 5 at the end of 4 innings. Chuck Estrada has relieved Steve Barber. Swing and a miss by John Roseboro, strike 1. Roseboro has been the leading Dodger hitter against the Mets this year, batting over 400 against them. Now Fisher winding. Pitches fastball on the outside corner, call strike. Joe Becker coaching at first, and Leo DeRocher on the lines at third. Next pitch on the way. Drive in the air to short center field. Elliott coming at full speed, reaches down, makes the catch. A beauty. Larry Elliott racing straight in for the sinking liner. He had to slide on his knees, and he made the catch. His elbow was sliding against the grass, but he managed to hold on to it. Jack Fisher, so far, has been getting ahead of the hitters rather consistently, but then the Dodgers have been hitting behind the count and hitting the ball hard. Tommy Davis tripled deep to right center, driving 2 runs in on the 2-strike delivery. Foul ball back to the screen, strike 1 to Nate Oliver. In the American League pennant race, the Yankees have beaten the Twins. Cleveland toppled the White Sox. The A's and Orioles are tied 5-5 at the end of 4. One strike delivery. Inside and high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now the cheer in the background, they are posting the final score of the Rams' upset win over the Steelers. High infield pop fly out near second base. Bobby Klaus under it, near second, makes the catch, 2 men down. Two outs and nobody on. They've played an inning now at Candlestick Park. The Phillies nothing and the Giants nothing. Jim Bunning 16-4, including a perfect ball game pitching for the Phils. Rookie left-hander Dick Estelle, brought up from Tacoma, starting again against Philadelphia. Pitched well against the Phillies in his initial start at Connie Mack Stadium last weekend. Now the hitter is Don Drysdale. Big Don, a good hitter. Here's the pitch on the way. A swing and a miss and a fastball at the letter, strike 1. Say, if you want to come up with a taste that's right, make it Viceroy. We'll give you a complete rundown on all the scores of the other games at the end of the inning. Right in for a strike, a 2-strike count. Mets return to Shea Stadium for their final homestand of the year. Tuesday week, September 22nd, a night game with the Redbirds. Low and outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. That final homestand should provide a lot of excitement with the 2 ball clubs. 2 of the 3 still hoping to win a National League pennant. In pursuit of Philadelphia, both coming in. Inside the high, it's 2-2 on Big D. Cardinals played 2 games in Shea Stadium, and Cincinnati has 5 games over the weekend. Now Fisher toes the slab, winds and pitches. A line drive hammered into left center for a base hit. George Altman plays the ball back to Roy McMillan, and Drysdale is on with a 2-out single. Now Maury Wells coming up at the top of the batting order. Maury was thrown out by Bobby Klaus on a sparkling play in the field in the first inning. Bobby raced deep in the hole on the right side of the diamond, going to his glove side, came up with it, and threw him out on a very close play. Too high, 1 ball and no strikes. Now Fisher off the stretch. Foul ball back against the screen, no play. Buffalo has beaten Syracuse this afternoon 5-3. Maury Wells, the batter, against Jack Fisher, 2 outs, and Drysdale on first base. Change up a beauty, a strike on the outside corner, and once again Fisher is out in front on the hitter. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Eddie Cranepool doesn't hold against the base runner. Down comes the pitch. A bouncing ball foul down the third base line. That was an inside pitch that Maury stepped back and actually hit foul down the third base line. He really hit down on that one. With that great speed of his, he tries to hit down and bounce that ball across the left side of the diamond. Anytime he does so, he's got a pretty good chance to beat it out for a base hit. Now Jack Fisher up in pitching position. Delivers 1-2. Foul ball going off to the left, no play. Playing field at Dodger Stadium in remarkably fine condition, considering the fact that it is also the home side of the Los Angeles Angels, and that a game is played here just about every day. 1-2 delivery. Blooper to short left center field. Back goes McMillan, and he's got it for the out. Soft line drive into short left center. McMillan goes back to take it, and the side is out. In the second, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on. At the end of 2 innings, the score, the Dodgers 2 and the New York Mets nothing. Bob Murphy with Ralph Kiner and Lindsey Nelson from Dodger Stadium. It's the 3rd inning now, and let's catch the action with Ralph Kiner.
Okay, Bob. Charlie Smith, the first man for the Mets here against Drysdale. Don has pitched to 6 batters and picked them all up. Good play on one ball hit by Larry Elliott to left field by Tommy Davis. First pitch in to Charlie Smith is inside. It's ball 1. Charlie batting .232 with 17 home runs and 50 runs batted in, a right-hand batter. And the right-hander back again inside, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. After Charlie Smith, Roy McMillan, and then the pitcher, Jack Fisher. Drysdale into the windup, and the next pitch is inside for ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. Drysdale has 21 scoreless innings going in a row against the Mets. And he is on the verge of a walk, which is something unusual. 3-0 pitch, in for a called strike. Drysdale has walked only 54 batters in 279 and 2/3 innings. 3 balls, 1 strike. And the next pitch is hit hard foul down the right field side into the first row of box seats over the auxiliary scoreboard just beyond the Met dugout. So the count now full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Drysdale has 24 no-walk complete games in his major league career, 6 of them coming in 1964. Three balls and 2 strikes. Side Drysdale into the windup, and his pitch to Smith is hit in the air in foul territory. Chance for Ron Fairley. A long run. He's over by the dugout, and he one-hands it. And a fine play by Ron Fairley, having to worry about the dugout and at the same time find the ball. 2 good plays for the Dodgers in the ball game. So far, some spectacular fielding. The Mets have turned in 3 good plays. A terrific play by Bobby Krause in the first inning on Maury Wills. And then a great play in center field by Larry Elliott on John Roseboro. Also, Roy McMillan on the last out in the top of the second made a fine play on Maury Wills in the bottom half of the second. Now the batter is Roy McMillan. He takes high. It's ball 1. Roy batting .216, 1 home run, 24 runs batted in, a right-hand batter. Pitch back, a check on the swing, but not in time. It's strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now Drysdale back again. And the let-up is lined into right center field, a base hit. Coming over, Frank Howard to pick it up on the second hop, and Roy McMillan has a base hit, the first Met base hit of the game. Don Drysdale had retired 7 in a row before giving up the base hit, and that brings up Jack Fisher. Jack batting .159, right-hand batter. He leads the Mets pitchers in runs batted in with a total of 8. Now looking for the sign from Don Hefner as to whether or not he'll be hitting away or bunting. Jim Gilliam, the third baseman, playing just in front of the line between second and third, looking for a possible bunt. And the first pitch is inside, a breaking pitch, ball one. Fisher not scoring around. He was hitting that time. Dodgers lead 2-0 on a 2-run triple by Tommy Davis in the bottom half of the first. McMillan edging off at first base. The pitch back to the plate, bounced foul, and it's strike one. Now a large sign down the left field line. Mets in 19, and then a question mark, and the usher now moving the boys for them out of the box seat area, and the sign has to be put away. 1 ball, 1 strike count. You see a lot of banners around the ballpark. In quite a few of the ballparks now in the major leagues, a few cropping up here in L.A. 1 ball, 1 strike. Drysdale back to the plate, and Fisher takes from the outside corner, strike 2. Last night, a rooting section for the Mets, but they couldn't help at all as the Mets were shut out on a 2-hit shutout by Pete Rickard, his first in the major league. Pitch back to Fisher, hit foul, bounced by Don Hefner, the third base coach, and he goes into the Dodger dugout. Sitting down on the steps in the Dodger dugout, getting some sunshine, Sandy Koufax. And the word is that he's going to start throwing again, and there's a possibility he might be able to work before the season's over, and that will give him a chance to win 20 ball games. He has 19 wins this year. And a swing and a miss at strike 3. Jack Fisher going down on strikes, and that is strikeout number 212 for Don Drysdale in the season. The league leader is Sandy Koufax with 223 strikeouts and 223 innings. Drysdale getting his first. He has 2 men away here in the top of the third with the Dodgers leading 2-0. That brings up the leadoff man, Bobby Klaus. Bobby lined out to center field his first time up. He's batting .237. Roy McMillan at first base. And the first pitch is on the outside corner, a crossfire fastball for strike 1. Sandy Koufax injured his left elbow, sliding back into a bag, and he has been out of action for quite some time. Pitch back to the plate, a sinking fastball inside. Pitch down around the knees, the count even at 1-1. No score in the ball game. The Dodgers lead 2-0. Drysdale back again and again inside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Drysdale and Koufax are tied for lifetime shutouts in their career for the Dodger pitchers. They have a total of 27. Now Drysdale to Bobby Klaus with a curveball, and Klaus fooled completely, and the count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bobby with sort of a 3/4 swing as he was completely fooled by the curve. Kansas City has scored a run in the top of the 5th. They now lead Baltimore 6-5. Next pitch has popped up in the air down the right field line out back of first base. Coming over is Nate Oliver into foul territory, and he makes the catch, and that retires the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on base. And the score at the end of 2.5 innings, the Dodgers 2 and the Mets nothing. Well, a happy birthday played earlier to Ed Sudol, the umpire behind home plate. Didn't mention the number of years. Just let it go at that, which might be a good thing. And Jack Fisher to work in his first pitch as he starts off in the bottom half of the third is low with ball 1. Jack working to Jim Gilliam, batting for the second time. Jim walked his first time up, moved to third on the hit and run play, and scored on Tommy Davis's triple. Pitch back to Gilliam is inside his ball 2. Final score, the Green Bay Packers dominating the Chicago Bears, winning 23-12. That was a big one and a big start for the Green Bay Packers. Pitch back to the plate. Inside for ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. Dodgers 2 runs on 3 hits. Mets have no runs, 1 hit. No one out, bottom half of the third. Fisher back to work, and he comes in with a fastball at strike 1. On deck batter, Willie Davis. Now 3-1, the pitch to Jim Gilliam is looked at for strike two, and the count fills to 3 balls and 2 strikes. Jim with 2 home runs this year and 27 runs batted in. 2 for 4 against the Mets in the series. And the next pitch swung on and fouled down in the dirt, and the count stays at 3-2. Jack Fisher with a slider down around the knees on the inside corner. A little bit of breeze here today in Los Angeles. During the night action, there is very little movement of air in this area here, which is down in a depression in Chevis Ravine. 3-2 pitch outside, ball 4, and Fisher walks his second man, walking Jim Gilliam for the second time. Leadoff batter at first base, that brings up Willie Davis. Willie with a hit-and-run base hit, a line drive to center field his first time up. He's batting .293. 11 home runs, 67 runs batted in. Mets playing Willie Davis as a pull hitter. And Jack Fisher moving off the pitching rubber, chasing Jim Gilliam a little bit closer back to first base. Now Fisher sets again. His first pitch to Davis is inside, a curveball. It's ball 1. Willie Davis with another stance, another type of batting. He is now cocking the bat a la Hank Aaron. Really a man of 1,000 stances. You'll find him with a different one just about every time he comes up. Last night, he used the cock with good advantage, picking up a base hit on a change of pace. Now he hits down to second base. A chance for 2. Throw to second in time. No play at first as Willie hustles on down the line. Ball was hit right at Bobby Cross, and it would have taken perfect execution for close play on the double play on Willie Davis, who has run the 100-yard dash in 9.5. Willie in high school, in a practice session, broad jumped 27 feet once. Now the batter, Tommy Davis. Tommy has driven in the 2 runs in the ballgame, tripling to right center field. Willie Davis with a big lead. Jack Fisher steps off the pitching rubber, and Davis moves back. He does not go, and the pitch is a fastball for strike 1. Tommy batting .274 with 71 runs batted in, 10 home runs. 5 for 9 against the Mets in the series. Throw to first base, and Willie just beats the tag. He had the dive back in, and Ed Craneville had it right down there, but not quite in time. Tommy Davis stepping out of the batter's box. And a throw again to first, and another close play. Willie Davis diving back in, getting his left hand in just ahead of the tag. He has a big lead. And Jack Fisher with a good move to first. Now Willie again leading off. He goes. The pitch is taken. The throw to second base is in the dirt and not in time. And Willie Davis gets his 31st stolen base. Throw by Jesse Gander taken cleanly after bouncing in the dirt by Bobby Krause, and the tag made after Willie had reached the bag. The count now is 0-2. The pitch is strike. Jack Fisher taking a long look at the signs. The Dodgers lead 2-0, have a runner in scoring position with 1 man out in the bottom half of the third. And Fisher back to Tommy Davis, and the pitch is outside. The ball getting away from Jesse Gander, but now Ed Sudol indicating that the ball was fouled off the bat of Tommy Davis. Tommy started to swing, tried to hold up, and the ball must have just ticked the bat, glanced off the glove of Jesse Gander. Really had moved on down toward third base before the sign by Sudol indicating the foul tip. So the count stays at 0-2. Now the pitch back to the plate. A curveball into right field. A line drive. Moving over is Joe Christopher. He is there, and he makes the catch. Davis halfway down the line, moving back to second base on the line out by Tommy Davis. That brings up Ron Fairley, who fouled out his first time up. Ron batting at .256. Final score, the Buffalo Bills with 31 points in the first quarter, defeating Kansas City by a 34-17 score. Fairley, a left-hand batter. 2 men away, bottom half of the third. Willie Davis at second. And the first pitch hit foul out of play off to the left side at strike one. Ron with 9 home runs and 69 runs batted in. Tommy Davis with his 2 runs batted in the ball game today, taking over the club leadership from Ron Fairley. One strike count of Ron Fairley as Fisher looks at second, now comes back to the plate. And a changeup is too low. It's ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jack Fisher with the slip pitch that he learned while pitching for Baltimore. Warm afternoon in Los Angeles. Final meeting between the Dodgers and Mets this year. Now Fisher again in the set position. And his pitch back to the plate is in for a called strike. The count now at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fisher throwing a slider in the inside corner up around the letters. Fairley with 4 hits and 9 times up in the series. Bill Wakefield again throwing in the bullpen for the Mets. And the next pitch hit on the ground off the end of the bat down toward second base. Bobby Krause fields the ball, throws to first, and that retires the side. No runs, no hits, there were no errors. A walk and a stolen base, and a man left on base. And the score at the end of 3 innings, the Dodgers 2, the New York Mets nothing. Top of the 4th inning with the Dodgers in front, 2-0, the Mets coming up. First man up for New York will be Ed Kranepool, then Joe Christopher and George Altman. Don Drysdale has pitched to 10 men in 3 innings, giving up a base hit to Roy McMillan. Kranepool skied out to center field his first time up, hitting a high fastball high in the air to Willie Davis. Ed had his 6-game hitting streak stopped last night on the 2-hit pitching of Pete Rickard. And the first pitch by Drysdale taken by Kranepool for a called strike. Eddie, in his first 2 appearances in this ball game, moving away from the batter's box in the first pitch, taking all the way. 1 strike delivery inside. It's ball 1. Last ball by Drysdale. The count 1 ball, 1 strike. Don with a chance to take over the league leadership in strikeouts sometime in this year. Fly ball hit the left field. Going over by the foul line, Tommy Davis. He is under it, and he makes the catch. 1 away in the top of the 4th. And Joe Christopher will now come to bat. Joe fouled out his first time up. Batting at .306. Joe had 1 for 2 last night, picking up a double to right center field. Also reached against Pete Rickard when he was hit by a pitch ball, a curveball getting him right on the front foot. And he also was walked. And Joe takes high. It's ball 1. Breaking pitch by Drysdale, and the count 1 ball, no strikes. On deck batter, George Altman. Dodgers lead 2-0. 1 out, top of the 4th. Now the right-hander back again with a curveball, and again, the pitch is high. It's ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Two balls, no strikes. Drysdale into the windup, and a let-up is swung on and fouled off. Ball going out of play. Drysdale with an earned run average of 2.23. Sandy Koufax leads the major leagues, and he'll qualify with enough innings pitched to earn the championship with a 1.74. I should say he leads the National League. Dean Chance leads the major league. So the Los Angeles area having the 2 top ERA pitchers in baseball. Pitch back to the plate. A fastball in the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Koufax with a 19-5 record this year, appearing in 29 ball games. Foul ball hit down the right field side out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Last year, Sandy Koufax was the ERA leader for the Dodgers. 2-2 pitch is outside and low, and the count fills to 3-2. The second time in the ball game that Drysdale has gone 3 balls and 2 strikes. Now the pitch at 3-2 to Joe Christopher. And he slices the ball down the right field line. A long run for Frank Howard. He can't get to it. It goes on by, and this will go for extra bases. A 3-base hit, and here comes Joe Christopher into third. Ball is retrieved by Frank Howard, and he throws it on in. The Mets now have Joe Christopher at third base with 1 out. Ball was a slicing line drive, curving away from Frank Howard. He tried to catch up with it, couldn't get to it, and then had to chase the ball down as the ball went around in the right field corner. Easy 3-base hit for Joe Christopher. That is his 8th of the season. And the batter is George Altman. Mets now with their second hit. They trail 2-0. The Dodgers have 3-base hits. Altman grounded back to the pitcher's first time up. Left-hand batter. The infield has been brought in. And the first pitch is in on the inside, on the outside corner to knees for strike 1. George betting 227. Now Maury Wills comes in to talk with Drysdale at the mound. Wills going back to the shortstop position. Drysdale with 22 scoreless innings against the Mets. 22 consecutive scoreless innings, and now the umpire, Ed Sudol, asked to look at the ball. Drysdale has been accused of throwing spitters. One strike count on George Altman. Drysdale, a long look at the signs from John Roseboro. Now into the windup, and here's the pitch. Inside, it's ball 1. Fastball just off the inside corner. Drysdale working out and then in. The count 1 ball, 1 strike. Willie Davis playing a very shallow center field. In fact, the whole outfield very shallow against George Altman. 1-1 delivery. Checking the swing. It's in time. It's ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. George laying off a high pitch and getting the count in his favor, 2-1. On deck batter, Larry Elliott. Drysdale taking his signs in a bent-over position, now into the windup. 2-1 delivery. Checking the swing again, a curveball inside, ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. Three balls, 1 strike. And the 3-1 delivery. Let up, hit the left field, a base hit. Joe Christopher will score on the hit. And George Altman holds at first base as he reached out and punched that change of pace into left field. And the Mets have scored their first run of the game. The score 2-1 in favor of the Dodgers. And that run, the first run scored off Drysdale by the Mets in 22 complete innings of pitching. That brings up Larry Elliott. Larry, a left-hand batter, fired out to deep left field right in the corner. His first time up, he takes from the outside corner a fastball at strike 1. Good play of the ball by Tommy Davis as he caught the ball, actually kept the ball from going in the stands. Final score, Boston 4, the Angels 3. Red Sox scoring 1 in the bottom half of the ninth to win it for Dick Raddatz. Losing pitcher was DeLeva, who came in the game in the 8th inning. Next pitch back to Elliott is popped up in the infield. Ron Fairley right by the bag, shading against the sun, and he makes the catch a step away from first base. George Altman standing right on the bag. And now with 2 away, it'll bring up Jesse Gander. And we pause now for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
WGY WGFM Schenectady. For baseball, for the best in music, for comprehensive, reliable news reporting, stay tuned to WGY and WGFM.
Ralph Gander along with Bob Murphy and Lindsey Nelson from Los Angeles, California. Jesse Gander batting, the time run at first base. Gander hit a slow roller down toward first base. His first time up was thrown out by Drysdale. First pitch gets by John Roseboro, goes back to the wall, and George Altman goes on down to second. A big turn there, and he holds as Roseboro comes back with the ball. Ball wasn't too far inside, and we'll see how they'll score it. Looked as though Roseboro might have been crossed up. It's going as a pass ball against John Roseboro. So the Mets now have the tying run at second base with the count 1 ball and no strikes on Jesse Gander. Jesse batting .278. Ed Kranepool led off the inning by flying out the left, but then Joe Christopher tripled down the right field line and scored when George Altman singled the left. George now at second base in the pass ball. Larry Elliott flying out to first, and the pitch back to Gander is a curveball high, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Drysdale slowing the pace down now. Hits are even at 3 apiece. And Drysdale looks at second. Comes back to Gander, and a curveball breaks in for a called strike. High curveball by Don Drysdale, catching the outside corner. 2-1 the count on Jesse Gander. Jesse with 7 home runs and 33 runs batted in for the year. On deck batter, right-hander Charlie Smith. And the next pitch is high and outside. It's ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. Don Drysdale has gone to 3 balls and 3 batters in this inning. Joe Christopher, George Altman, and now Jesse Gander. And Drysdale backs off the pitching rubber, and George Altman goes back toward second base. Jesse Gander out of the batter's box, now moving back in. The count 3 balls, 1 strike. And the pitch. Fouled back and out of play. Strike 2. Run in the top of the 4th. They lead the Giants 1-0 with the Giants batting in the bottom half of the 4th against Jim Bunning. Dick Cassell pitching for San Francisco. Recently recalled from the minor leagues. Bunning with a record of 16 wins and 4 losses for the league-leading Philadelphia Phils. Philadelphia in first place by 6 games over St. Louis and San Francisco. Cincinnati in 4th place. They trail by 7. Three balls, 2 strikes. And a play on at second base, but Altman beats the tag by Maury Wills. Quick play, and Altman had to get back in a hurry as Maury Wills came over from his shortstop position on the time pickoff play. Good execution by Don Drysdale. He threw the ball just as Wills arrived, but George Altman, with a short lead, beat the throw. Now set again. Here's the 3-2 pitch. High and outside, and it's ball 4, and that's the first walk issued by Don Drysdale in the game, and it brings up Charlie Smith. Drysdale had walked only 2 Mets in 39 2/3 innings this season. Charlie Smith fouled out his first time, and he drives the next pitch deep to center field, and his way back there. It's going to go into the stands, a home run. Charlie Smith with his 18th home run of the year, a long drive, 410 feet into the stands in center field. Ball going in about 3 rows, and the Mets take the lead by a score of 4-2. That is the first Met home run hit in this ballpark this year, and it was a long one. And a big one. The Mets taking the lead by a score of 4-2. That brings up Roy McMillan. He takes the called strike, strike one. The home run by Charlie Smith, giving him 18, and that is one higher than Jim Hickman's club-leading home run total last year. Pitch is inside. It hits Roy McMillan. He gets first base. That'll bring up Jack Fisher, the pitcher. Jack, a right-hand batter. He struck out his first time up. Roy edging off at first base, and the first pitch to Fisher, fastball bounced to short. A two-hopper taken by Maury Wills. He goes to second base for the forced play, and that retires the side. But in the inning, the Mets score 4 runs on 3 hits. There were no errors, 1 walk, 1 batter hit by a pitch ball, and 1 man left. And the score at the end of 3.5, the Mets 4, the Dodgers 2.
Viceroy taste the way you like a filter cigarette to taste. Not too strong
and not too light.
Viceroy's got the taste that's right.
That's right. Viceroy is scientifically made to taste the way you'd like a filter cigarette to taste. Not too strong, like some filter brands that taste as if they didn't have a filter. And not too light, like other brands that keep you smoking one cigarette after another, trying to satisfy your taste. Viceroy's not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the deep weave filter for the taste that's right.
Deep weave filter, right. Taste that's right, right. Not too strong or light. Viceroy's got the taste that's right. Viceroy taste the way you like a filter cigarette to taste. Not too strong
and not too light.
Viceroy's got the taste that's right.
Bottom half of the 4th inning. Dodgers coming up now trailing by 2. They had the early lead by scoring 2 runs in the first on a 2-run triple by Tommy Davis, but the Mets took it back by scoring 4 in the 4th. 3 of them on the 3-run homer by Charlie Smith. So the right-hand batter, Charlie Smith, hitting a 3-run home run against the right-hander, Don Drysdale. First man up for the Dodgers will be Frank Howard. He struck out his first time up against Jack Fisher, and he takes a fastball in the inside corner, strike 1. Frank last night 4 for 4 in the ball game, raising his average up to 230. Howard with 22 home runs, 66 runs batted in. Next pitch back, a good curve. He takes it for strike 2. Final score, Cincinnati defeated Milwaukee 9-2. Winning pitcher was Joey J. His 10th win of the year. He has lost 11. Losing pitcher Warren Spahn. He is now 6-13. Tommy Harper, Veda Pinson, and Dennis Menke home runs. Pitch back to Howard, a curve off of the glove of Jesse Gander, actually off his bare hand. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cincinnati picking up a half game at this point on Philadelphia. They now trail by 6.5 games, and they'll be in when the Mets return home for the final 5 games of the season in Shea Stadium. Third ball popped up in foul territory. It's going out of play. Prior to the 5 games with Cincinnati, the St. Louis Cardinals will be in Shea Stadium. So the final homestand showing 7 games against The two big contenders in the National League, along with the Giants, against the league-leading Philadelphia Phillies. 1-2 pitch is a fastball high and tight. It's ball 2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Howard will be followed by John Roseboro and then Nate Oliver. And Fisher back again. Curveball looked at, strike 3. And Frank Howard goes down for the second time. 1 man away in the bottom half of the 4th. The Mets lead 4-2, and it brings up John Roseboro. For Howard, that is his 104th strikeout in 125 games. Roseboro was out on a great play by Larry Elliott his first time up. He hit a sinking line drive into center field, and Larry made a diving catch of the ball, skidding on his knees. And Fisher comes in with a fastball. He hits the ball into left field. It drops in for a base hit. Roy McMillan picking the ball up as he chases it back out in the left field and throwing into second base, and John Roseboro gets a broken bat base hit. First base coach Joe Becker picking up the big end of the bat out between first base and the pitcher's mound, and the bat boy picking up the handle over by the on-deck circle of the New York Mets. Fastball jamming John Roseboro right in the fist, breaking the bat in half, but Roseboro picking up a Texas League base hit in the left field. Roy McMillan with no chance to get to it. He did chase it down and threw it on in. So the tying run is at the plate. Nate Oliver, the batter, and he swings at the first pitch at strike 1. Oliver popped to second base his first time up, batting .241. It's even at 4-piece. The Mets lead 4-2. 1 man out, bottom half of the 4th. And the next pitch back to the plate, a slider in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jesse Gander digging the ball up and firing it back to the pitcher. And Fisher sets again. His pitch back to the plate is taken low, and it's ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. Oliver is squaring around into a bunting position, trying to beat out a bunt, and then taking the pitch as it broke just below the knees. 2 balls, 1 strike with Don Drysdale on deck. And the pitch back to the plate, line to left, a base hit. Going over by the line, George Allman, he fires it in as he picks the ball up, and John Roseboro has to stay at second. So 2 in a row now with 1 man out, runners at first and second, and Don Drysdale is being called back as Walt Olson talks to him by the on-deck circle. Drysdale in a bunting situation, possibly, with 1 man away and the tying run at first base. Bill Wakefield again loosening up for the New York Mets. The base hit number 5 off Jack Fisher. Now Drysdale, after his conversation by Alston, is coming to the plate. He singled his first time up. Don is a good hitting pitcher. He has 1 home run, 8 in, 17 base hits for the year. Mets lead 4-2 with the Dodgers threatening with runners at first and second base. Third baseman Charlie Smith playing about even with the bag at third. Ed Kranepool about 2 steps in from the line running between first and second. Now the first pitch to Drysdale. A hard swing at a curveball, strike 1. On-deck batter Maury Will. Possibly with Maury, the on-deck batter, Drysdale will be going for all he can get in that bunting. Maury has a tough time driving in runs because they play him so shallow in the outfield. Pitch back to Drysdale, this time bunted and fouled back to the screen. 0-2 as Fisher gets out in front. Now Kranepool dropping back of the runner at first base with the count of 2 strikes. Charlie Smith dropping back into a normal double play position at third base. Fisher, a look at the signs now on the pitching rubber. And his pitch, swung on, hit down to first, but the ball is a foul ball. Cranepool picked it up, was going to throw to second base. He had a forced play there. But the ball was just foul. John Roseboro, who had moved over to third, going back to second, and Nate Oliver goes back to first. Count stays at 0-2. Drysdale stepping back into his hitter's position. And Fisher now into the stretch position. And he fakes the throw to first base as he steps off the pitching rubber. And Nate Oliver dives back in, but there was no throw. Pitcher has to step off that rubber or he has to throw to the bases. Otherwise, a balk would be called. Now the two-strike delivery. Curveball looked at, it's called strike three. And a fine curveball by Jack Fisher. And Jack picks up his second strikeout in this inning, his third in the ball game. And that brings up Maury Wells. On Drysdale, before walking away from home plate, questioning the call by Ed Sudol. Maury Wells batting for the third time. He was out on a great play by Bobby Krause his first time up, and then out on a very good play by Roy McMillan his second time up. Maury batting .275, batting from the left-hand side against the right-hander Jack Fisher. Runners at first and second. Mets lead 4-2, and the first pitch is a slider on the outside corner for a called strike. After the strikeout of Frank Howard, a broken bat base hit by John Roseboro, and a line drive to left field by Nate Oliver, putting the Dodgers with the tying run at first base. But with Drysdale strikeout, 2 men away, and now a ball looped down the third base side. It goes foul. Maury Wells jammed by a fastball behind the ball, looping it just over the third baseman's head, but the ball fouled by about 6 or 7 feet. 2-strike count on the left-hand batter. Boy has driven in 34 runs this year. He has 2 home runs. Good speed at second base, John Roseboro there. Great speed at first base, Nate Oliver there. Now Fisher, 2 strikes, and his pitch back to the plate. Fastball hit foul on the ground by Leo DeRocher in the coaching box, and the count holds at 0-2. Big article in Los Angeles Times here today about Leo DeRocher, with the speculation that Leo might be the manager at San Francisco, or he might be the manager here at L.A. 2-strike delivery, hit on the ground, down to second base. A hurry-up play for Bobby Krause. He throws to first base in time, and that retires aside. And on that play, Maury Wells broke his bat. In the inning, Dodgers scored no runs. They had 2 hits. There were no errors. 2 men were left on. And the score at the end of 4, the Mets 4, the Dodgers 2. Now here's Bob to talk a little bit about the final homestand at Shea Stadium.
Okay, Ralph, the St. Louis Cardinals will lead off the final homestand for the New York Mets with a night game and a day game, September 22nd and September 23rd. The Cardinals today are playing the Cubs at Wrigley Field in Chicago, and they have a chance to tie an all-time record. St. Louis has scored at least 1 run in every inning of the game, and the game now is in the 9th inning. St. Louis got 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, 1 in the sixth, 3 in the seventh, and 1 in the 8th inning at the expense of the Chicago Cubs. So they now lead the Cubs 14-2 going to the 9th inning. The Cardinals 6 games behind the league-leading Philadelphia Phils. Phils right now lead the Giants 1-0 at the end of 4.5 in the duel between Jim Bunning and Dick Estelle. The Olympic home run hitting contest precedes the Mets and Cardinals for the night game Tuesday night, September 22nd. The night that players from the other professional sports wearing the uniform they wear for their particular professional sport are engaged in a home run hitting contest. So I think you'll really enjoy it. Tickets are on sale at the advanced sale window at Shea Stadium, 126th and Roosevelt Avenue. Also in Midtown Manhattan, Grand Central Station and Penn Station, at Macy's and the Walt Whitman Shopping Center, Huntington, Long Island. Bobby Klaus hitting the first pitch in the year to left field. Coming in is Tommy Davis. And Tommy takes it, one man down. Now Eddie Cranepool batting for the third time. Ed 0 for 2 has fly to center and fly to left. Well, it's Jocko Conlon Day in Chicago, but the real day is for the St. Louis Cardinals, who lead 14-2 going to the ninth. Outside and high, 1 ball and no strikes. If the Giants can rally and beat the Philadelphia Phils, the Cardinals and the Giants would both be just 5 games out. Reds would pick up a game and be 6 games behind. The Reds beat the Braves 9-2 with Joey J winning his 10th game. 2 balls and no strikes on Eddie Cranepool. Drysdale's pitch is on the outside corner, a call strike, 2-1. Two-one delivery, foul ball cut back upstairs toward the crowd and out of play. Now it's 2-2. St. Louis Cardinals, the San Francisco Giants, the Cincinnati Reds will all be looking to the Dodgers for help next week when the Phils come into Dodger Stadium for a 4-game series, and that'll be 4 single games, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Full count on Ed Cranepool, 3-2. The A's and the Orioles have gone to the 8th inning now. Kansas City still protecting a 1-run lead. They lead the Birds by a score of 6-5. The Yankees beat the Twins 5-2. Cleveland beat the White Sox. Grounder hit towards second. Nate Oliver grabs and throws in time, getting Cranepool on a rather close play. If the A's hold on to win, the Yankees will be in second, trailing the Orioles by 1 game. The White Sox will be in third, a game and a half out. Now the hitter is Joe Christopher, and it was Joe who started off the 4-run 4th inning. He lined a triple down the right field line, was singled home by George Altman. A walk to Gander, and then a tremendous 3-run homer by Charlie Smith. Taken under the knees, 1 ball and no strikes. The ball Charlie hit was almost a straightaway center, just a little bit over toward left center. Went right over the 410-foot mark and about 4 or 5 rows up in. Fly ball in the air to rather short center field. Willie Davis coming in, slows up now. Willie's under it and makes the catch. Mets go down 1-2-3 in their half of the 5th inning, and so we've come halfway at the end of 4.5 innings. The New York Mets 4 and the Los Angeles Dodgers 2. Well, who holds the world's record for doing the most things at once? Richard Mack, a 28-year-old furniture salesman of Newark, New Jersey, says he does. He wrote us about it recently. He reads the sports page, does the crossword puzzle, munches a sandwich, listens to the ball game, and enjoys a frosty, cool Rheingold Extra Dry all at the same time. Well, approximately, anyway. You know, when I say there's a whole lot going on along the Rheingold beach, here's a man who really proves it. Goes to show you whatever you're doing. A tall, cool Rheingold is always a welcome thirst quencher. Rheingold is as good to your taste as it is to your thirst, because it's brewed extra dry. Smoother, crisper, livelier, completely satisfying. Yes, sir, Rheingold is as good to your taste as it is to your thirst. Rheingold after Rheingold. Jim Gilliam leading off against Jack Fisher in the last of the 5th inning. Pitch outside and high, 1 ball and no strikes. The Giants got a run off Jim Bunning in the last of the 5th inning. That ties the game. Phillies won and the Giants won at the end of 5. Drive hit to right center field. It's going to sink in for a base hit. Joe Christopher plays it toward the alley over in right center. And Gilliam has led off the fifth inning with a base hit. Dodgers now have 6 hits. Willie Davis coming up. Willie has singled to center, reached on a fielder's choice, and stolen a base. Stolen base for Willie Davis was his 31st of the year. Foul ball hit over toward the visiting dugout. No play. Now the A's are out in the 8th inning in Baltimore. The Birds sitting last of the 8th inning and trailing Kansas City 6-5. Wes Stock is pitching in relief for the A's. He came on in the 5th inning. Dick Hall came on in the 7th for the Orioles. Hit foul down the left field line by Willie Davis. If the A's win, not only will the Yankees be just one game out, they'll actually go a game up on the Orioles in the all-important loss column. It would be Baltimore's 59th loss of the year. The Yankees have lost 58. Change-up hit in the air down the right field line. Christopher running toward the line makes the catch, a foul ball by just a running stride. Holding up at first base is Jim Gilliam. Now 1 out and 1 on. That brings up Tommy Davis. Tommy has tripled to right center field, driving the 2 Dodger runs in, and lined out to Christopher in right field. Now the pitch to Tommy Davis. Ground ball whacked on the left side. Cut off by Charlie Smith. Thrown to second for 1. On the first, not in time. That's just missing the double play started by Charlie Smith. Now there are 2 away. Tommy Davis on first, and the hitter is Ron Fairley. Well, that's quite a day for the St. Louis Cardinals. If they can get a run in the 9th inning, they will have scored in every inning of the game. One thing you know, it has to tie an all-time record. There ain't no other way. Here's the pitch on the way. Low and inside to Ron Fairley. 1 ball and no strikes. And the Cardinals got a run in the 9th inning at Chicago. They have scored a run in every inning of the ballgame. They are the 6th team in National League history to turn this trick. Boy, one thing you know, you don't do that every day. Ground ball hit the second, booted by Bobby Klaus. It goes on into center field. Tommy Davis is racing around to third, and the Dodgers have runners on first and third. It'll be an error charged to Bobby Klaus. Fans visit Rheingold's Little Old New York at the World's Fair. It's a great place to relax and meet your friends. Rheingold's Little Old New York at the fair. Well, the Dodgers get a break on the boot charged to Bobby Klaus. Runners on first and third. They represent the tying runs, and Big Frank Howard is up. The last time that a National League team has scored at least 1 run in every inning of the game, it was done by the Giants on June the 1st, 1923. Outside and low, 1 ball and no strikes. So it's been 41 years since a team in the National League scored at least once in each inning of the ballgame. Cardinals lead 15-2 over the Cubs going to the last of the 9th inning. This was Jocko Conlon Day in Chicago. One of Jocko worked the plate. Now the pitch to Howard, a foul ball, a whack back upstairs and out of play. One thing about it, if Jocko was behind the plate with that bow tie and outside chest protector, he probably considered that the worst gift of the things that he received today on his day in Chicago. Jocko is hanging him up, winding up a long and colorful umpiring career at the end of the season. 1-1 the count. The pitch by Fisher straightens him up. It's inside and high. 2 balls and a strike on Frank Howard.
Might be an explanation that, Bob, on his birthday, Jocko may be giving everybody 5 strikes out there today.
Well, maybe that's it. That's really something. 15 runs for the Cardinals, spread out over 9 innings with at least 1 in each inning. 2-1 pitch to Howard, a high foul fly over toward the stands. Rainbow gives it a run, but he has no play. It drops in the crowd. In 4 of the 9 innings, the Cardinals got 1 run. In 4 of the 9 innings, they scored 2 runs, and in the 7th inning, they scored 3 runs. Right here, the count 2-2 on Big Frank Howard. The Mets in front 4-2. Jack Fisher trying to work his way out of a jam. 2 men are on. Now the pitch. Low and outside. It's ball 3. And we have a full count 3-2. Ron Fairley, the runner at first base, will be on his way. Tommy Davis is on third, and there are 2 men down. Now Fisher into the set position. Steps off, chasing the runner back. Howard lashing the bat around, now cocks it. Here's the pitch. Ball 4, it's outside. They're loaded up. He gave him a slider on 3-2, and it just missed. Now Fisher will be up against a tough left-hand hitter in John Roseboro. Bases loaded. Roseboro has lined hard to center and singled to left field. 1 hit and 2 times at bat. He's been the leading hitter against the Mets all year, batting over 400 against the Mets. Roseboro on the year hitting at .294. Now Casey on his feet, shouting out to the Mets to bear down and try and dig out of this spot. Here's the windup, pitched by Fisher. And it gets away from Jesse Gander. It'll score a run. Tommy Davis comes in to score. That ball hits Sudol on the mask. Came all the way back toward the dugout, and Tommy Davis comes in to score. It'll be a fast ball charged to Gander. Now Jesse talking to Jack Fisher, and it's a 4-3 ball game. The other runners move up a base. It's an unusual pass ball. It was a fastball that Gander never touched. And it cracked Ed Sudol to the extent that the Dodger trainer is coming out to take a look at the area of the Adams apple and make sure that it is all right. So we have time being held up here for umpire Ed Sudol, who was hit by that pass ball. And while we do, we'll pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
WGY, WGFM Schenectady. For baseball, for the best in music, for comprehensive, reliable news reporting, stay tuned to WGY and WGFM.
Bob Murphy with Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Gander were in the last of the 5th inning. The Mets lead the Dodgers 4-3, but the Dodgers have runners on second and third and Roseboro hitting. Dodgers trying to cash in the opportunity that was presented to them in the form of an error charged to Bobby Klaus that kept them alive. 1 run has come in. Tommy Davis plated on the pass ball. Ron Fairley is on third. Frank Howard on second. Lined foul. He really tagged that one. Long drive going into the third deck deep down the right field line. Bill Wakefield warming in the bullpen. They're in the 9th inning in Baltimore. The A's lead the Orioles 6-5. Wes Stock has been on since the 5th inning. Working against his former teammates, he has blanked them 4 innings in a row. Now Roseboro holds up just in time and is 2-1. If the A's protect the lead in the ninth inning, the Yankees will be one game out and actually lead the Orioles in the loss column. Jack Fisher with a 1-2 count on Johnny Roseboro. Runners on second and third, 2 men down. Fisher over the head. Here's his pitch. Inside and high. It's 2-2. Well, the scoring spree in Chicago is over. The Cardinals down the Cubs 15-2. A game in which Johnny Keane, St. Louis Cardinals, scored at least 1 run in each of the 9 innings. Low inside, 3-2 on Johnny Roseboro. It had been 41 years in the National League since the team had scored at least once in every inning. And that was a game, by the way, in which the Cubs were charged with 7 errors. Three and two on Roseboro. Here's the pitch on the way. Ball 4, changeup on 3-2, and he walks it. Nate Oliver is the scheduled hitter, but is being called back to the dugout. I don't know whether he forgot his helmet or whether Walter Alston is going to send up a hitter. We're going to get a hitter. Darrell Griffith is coming out of the dugout. Darrell, a left-hand hitter, will bat for the right-hand hitter, Nate Oliver. Griffith leads the Dodgers in batting with an average of 308. 20-year-old rookie from Anadarko, Oklahoma. Bobby Klaus talking to Jack Fisher. Darrell Griffith, left-hand hitter who can really sting the ball, is coming out now to bat for Nate Oliver. Dodgers trailing by a run, and skipper Walter Alston makes his move right here, trying to regain the lead. Dodgers got the early lead on a 2-run triple by Tommy Davis in the first inning. The Mets bunched their hits, scoring 4 runs off Drysdale in the 4th inning. The big hit was a long 3-run homer by Charlie Smith. Bases loaded. Ron Fairley is on third. Frank Howard on second. Johnny Roseboro on first. Pitch to Griffith. Low and inside. Gander had to dig it out. 1 ball and no strike. Now the pitch to Griffith. A swing and a miss on a curve at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. Phillies and Giants tied 1-1. Giants are hitting in the last of the 6th inning against Jim Bunning. The 1-1 delivery. Bounced foul off the bat handle, out twisting on the ground, right straight back, and the count 1-2. Gilliam led off the last of the 5th inning with a single to right center. Willie Davis fouled to Christopher. Tommy Davis forced Jim Gilliam. Ron Fairley reached safely on an error, and on the play, Tommy Davis went from first to third. Tommy later scored on a pass ball. The 1-2 delivery. Ground ball slowly hit and foul down the first baseline. Mets have an off day tomorrow. They play the Giants Tuesday night and Wednesday afternoon. They have 2 off days this coming week. They're off tomorrow and they're off again on Thursday. Now Fisher with a count of 1-2. Pitches to Darrell Griffith. A ground ball hit hard to short. McMillan throws to first in time, and the side is out. That was a play that saw Max start for second for a force play. Then he wasn't sure he was going to get there in time to get Roseboro, who can run. So he came with that strong overhand throw in time at first base. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error. The run will be unearned. 3 left on. Now at the end of 5, the score, the Mets 4 runs, 4 hits, and 1 error. The Dodgers 3 runs, 6 hits, and no errors. Dick Trzaskowski is now playing second for the Dodgers after Darrell Griffith, with the bases loaded, batted for Nate Oliver. In the sixth inning, George Altman comes up against Don Drysdale. Big Don shooting for his 18th win of the year. Well, they're in the ninth inning in Baltimore with the A's leading by 1 run, and that's a big ball game for the New York Yankees. Yankees on the combined pitching of Whitey Ford and Pedro Ramos down to Minnesota 5-2. So they'll be just a game out and actually lead the Birds by a game in the loss column if the A's hold on to win. Former Oriole Wes Stock is the relief pitcher for Kansas City. And the breaking ball is over to George Altman, strike one call. White Sox were halted by the Cleveland Indians and rookie Luis Tiant. Cleveland winning 5-4. Ground ball hit to second base. Dick Trzaskowski digs it out of the dirt, pegs to Fairley, one man down. The NFL game in San Francisco has gone through the first quarter now with the 49ers leading the Detroit Lions 7-3. It's been a big day for upsets in the National Football League. Biggest shocker of them all, the Eagles beating the Giants 38-7. But the Rams stunned the Steelers 26-14. Tipped down the first baseline by Larry Elliott, a foul ball. The Cleveland Browns beat the Washington Redskins 27-13. Real good ball game going in Minnesota. Minnesota 24, the Baltimore Colts 21 at the end of the third quarter. Colts came back to get 14 points in the third quarter. Foul back into the screen off the bat of Larry Elliott. The Green Bay Packers with Paul Hornung back in action beat the Chicago Bears, the defending champions, 23-12. Low and inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The American Football League, the Bills beat the Kansas City Chiefs 34-17. They got 31 of their 34 points in the first quarter. Looping line drive into short right. Trzaskowski runs out and makes the catch over his shoulder. 2 men down. Elliott retired. Now the hitter is Jesse Gander. Jesse has been thrown out on a ground tap back to the mound. Last time up, drew a walk and came in to score on Charlie Smith's 3-run homer. He holds up on the breaking pitch. It's low. 1 ball and no strike. Saturday night action in the American Football League. The San Diego Chargers beat the Houston Oilers, and the New York Jets beat the Denver Broncos. Foul ball back toward the crowd and out of play. Now Drysdale with a 1-1 count on Jesse Gander. Lets up on it. It's outside. 2 balls and a strike. Oakland Raiders and the Boston Patriots are 7-7 in the first quarter at Oakland. Swing and a miss at a high hard one. Don Drysdale has now settled to retire 6 straight men since the Mets scored their 4 runs in the 4th inning. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And Gander goes down swinging, and the Mets are down 1-2-3 in the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. At the end of 5.5 innings, the score in the rubber game of this 3-game series, the Mets 4 and the Dodgers 3. Last of the 6th inning, Don Drysdale first up for the Dodgers against Jack Fisher. Dodgers picked up an unearned run in the 5th inning to draw within 1. Mets lead 4-3 as we go to the home 6th inning. Call strike on the outside corner. Fisher using a lot of breaking stuff. Jack trying for his 11th win of the year. He hopes to become the first member of the staff to reach 11. Breaking ball, low outside, 1-1 on Big D. The 1-1 delivery. And another breaking pitch by Fisher, a curve on the outside corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Joe Becker coaching at first base and Leo DeRocher at third. The 1-2 pitch. Right in there, strike 3 call. He fooled Drysdale down, kind of slammed the bat down toward the ground and disgusted himself and walked away. He got him with a fastball. He threw in 3 straight breaking pitches and then a fastball down the middle. Fourth strikeout for Jack Fisher, and it brings up Maury Wells. Maury wearing a glove on his left hand. Tapped foul off to the left. Not uncommon at all to see the hitters using a golf glove on their hand. They develop blisters from too much hitting. However, it's not too often you see the batter wearing a glove on the top hand on the bat. Four to 3, Mets in front. Dodgers hitting. We're in the last of the 6th inning. Pitch to Wills, drives him back from the plate. A high, tight fastball. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Maury hitting at .275 with 46 stolen bases. 1-1 delivery. He runs up as if to bunt, but didn't offer it. It was outside, 2-1. Dodgers have out-hit the Mets 6-4. The Mets lead by 1 run, 4-3. High infield pop fly on the left side of the diamond. On the skin part of the diamond, Roy McMillan is under it, and Mack takes it for the out. 2 down now in the Dodgers' 6th inning. That'll bring up Jim Gilliam. Gilliam has been up 3 times and on base 3 times. He walked in the 1st and 3rd and singled in the 5th. Down the middle to Jim Gilliam, a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Game in Baltimore, a big game for the Yankees. The Yankees have beaten Minnesota 5-2 on the combined pitching of Ford and Ramos. On the inside corner, good hard slider. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jim Gilliam. Now Jack Fisher winds. Here's the pitch. Foul ball on a half swing down the left field line and over in the crowd. That was an amazing game the A's and the Orioles played last night. Each pitcher turning in a 1-hitter, and the Birds winning 1-0. They got the run in the 8th inning. First Major League win for Frank Bertana. The 1-2 pitch. Foul ball down the first baseline. A changeup thrown by Jack Fisher. Giants hitting in the home 7th at Candlestick. The Giants and Phil's tied 1-1. Drive in the air to left field. Coming over is George Altman toward the line. He has it, and the side is out. Jack Fisher getting the Dodgers in order in the last of the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. Now 6 innings complete. It's the Mets 4 and the Dodgers 3. We'll be going now to the top half of the 7th inning, and Charlie Smith is up to lead off for the Mets. Charlie had a 3-run homer to center field in the top half of the 4th inning to put the Mets out in front, and the Mets are leading here by a score of 4-3. Big Don Drysdale on the mound for the Dodgers, looking for his 18th victory of this season. He's looking for a sign now from John Roseboro.
Gets it, and here's a pitch to the right-hand batter. Breaking ball a little high for ball one. Gander set to work. Flips this one in there for a call, strike one. 1-1. Waiting on deck, shortstop, Roy McMillan. That pitcher's in for a call, strike two. 1-2 to Charlie Smith. Charlie Smith, of course, once was in the Dodger organization. So he's not exactly a stranger to them. This is a 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, struck him out. Drysdale getting his third strikeout. It brings up Roy McMillan, who has singled and was hit by a pitch ball. The Mets have 4 runs on 4 hits, and the Dodgers have 3 runs on 6 hits. This is the concluding game of the series between the Mets and the Dodgers. Swing on a pop foul coming back, and Roseboro comes halfway and gives up. It's in the seats out of play. A strike one count to Mets shortstop, McMillan. Going to the bottom of the 7th, the league-leading Phillies and the San Francisco Giants are tied 1-1. Playing this afternoon at the Candlestick in San Francisco. Here's a pitch high. 1-1 to McMillan. Ed Sudol, the umpire behind the plate, and this is his birthday. 1-1 delivery. It's high for a ball. 2-1. Pitch to tie. 3 balls and 1 strike. Kansas City A's have scored another run in the top half of the 9th inning. They'll lead the Baltimore Orioles now by a score of 7-5. Going to the bottom half of the 9th at Baltimore. Pitch to McMillan's high, and he walks. Second walk issued by Drysdale puts McMillan on with 1 man out, and pitcher Jack Fisher coming up. With the Mets leading 4-3, the Dodgers have to protect against the possibility of the sacrifice here. Fisher struck out swinging and bounced into a force play so far. Temperature this afternoon, 15,885. There's a bunt on the first baseline, a foul ball. Fairley takes it off the line. That will bring McMillan back, and it's strike one to Jack Fisher. So the Dodgers, with a paid attendance today of 15,885, are still a little short of the $2 million paid, but should reach that, I'd expect, tomorrow night when the Pittsburgh Pirates come in here. Total paid attendance for the Dodgers, 1,989,567 for the season. The pitcher's inside to Fisher. He wasn't squaring, and he had to sort of jump back, get out of the way of the tight pitch at the belt buckle. Fairley comes over to say something to Drysdale about the manner in which they'll play a bunch to the right side. 1-1 is the count to Fisher. McMillan takes his lead. Pitch. Swung on and lined into left for a base hit for Fisher. Tommy Davis up with it, plays it back. Roy McMillan holds it second, and Fisher's on with a line single to left. Hit number 5 for the Mets off Drysdale gives them runners at first and second with 1 man out, and Bobby Klaus is coming up. Bobby is playing with quite a bit of hem stitching in that left forearm where he was cut by Dodgers center fielder Willie Davis the last time the Dodgers were in New York. Davis was sliding into second and was thrown out. And it took 5 stitches in the left forearm of Bobby Klaus. So he's playing with that bandage. The Mets are leading by a score of 4-3 in this, the top half of the 7th inning. Drysdale's pitch inside as Bobby Klaus laid off at the last moment, pulling the stick back, and it's ball one. Sunday afternoon in sunny Southern California. From second base, Dick Krasuski comes into the mound to say something to Don Drysdale. Met runners leading at first and second bases. There's a 1-0 pitch, and it misses low and away. So Drysdale goes behind 2-0 to Met leadoff man Bobby Klaus. At Candlestick Park, they're going to the top half of the eighth inning. The Phillies won and the Giants won. Drysdale looks in to John Roseboro to get his sign. Has it now up and set. This is a 2-0 pitch, and it's high for a ball, so the count now goes 3 balls, no strikes to Klaus. He steps back, reaches down, gets a handful of dirt. There's a murmur through the stands as Drysdale has gone behind 3-0 here. Ed Craneville is waiting on deck. Klaus looking for a sign from Don Hefner to tell him whether he is free to swing away on 3-0 or if he is required to take. That is a managerial decision. Runners lead first and second. 3-0 pitch, and they're running. He swings and misses, and now hung up is McMillan. He goes back to second. Fisher is now hung up, and it's Gilliam running straight across and tagging Fisher, and McMillan holds at second. So the count is 3-1 to Klaus at the plate as they had the runners moving on the pitch. 3-0, and Klaus took a cut. Missed, and the throw went down to Gilliam at third. He started running McMillan back to second. Mack made it. And then Gilliam ran straight across to tag Fisher. So there are 2 men out, a runner at second, and a count of 3-1 to Klaus at the plate. The play on Fisher actually goes 2-5, although the tag was made in the vicinity of first base. And this pitch is low, and Klaus is trying to walk. So he goes to first. McMillan holds at second. And Craneville will be coming up with 2 men out. And we're going to pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
WGY, WGFM Schenectady. For baseball, for the best in music, for comprehensive, reliable news reporting, stay tuned to WGY and WGFM.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. Manager Walter Alston of the Dodgers has gone to the mound to have a word with Don Drysdale, who has issued 2 walks in this inning. Ron Perinoski, a left-hander, is up and throwing in the bullpen for the Dodgers. Alston, arms folded, still talking to Drysdale. And umpire Ed Sudol goes strolling toward the mound, try to get things underway here. After all, it's his birthday. Like to get things moving. The Mets are leading in the game by a score of 4-3. Drysdale's going to stay in the ball game as Alston just stays there until Sudol arrives and turns and walks briskly now toward the dugout. Here's the final score. The Kansas City A's have defeated the Baltimore Orioles 7-5. Wes Stock gets the win, and Chuck Estrada takes the loss. Pitch to Craneville, and it's low for a ball. McMillan is the runner at second. Klaus is the runner at first. Drysdale looks for his sign. Craneville is nothing for 3 today. Flied out, and grounded out. Drysdale checks and deals, and the pitch is swung out, hit in the air to left field. A high fly ball, and Tommy Davis drifts underneath. He waits, and he makes the catch.
So the side is up, and Mets got no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. Score at the end of 6 1/2 is the Mets 4 and the Dodgers 3, and here's music that says thirst no more. The New York Mets have added another ball player. The Mets have announced that they've purchased from the Pittsburgh Pirates organization Tommy Parsons. He is a pitcher, 6 feet 6 inches tall, 210-pound right-hander. He is 25 years old today, and he will join the New York club in San Francisco tomorrow. 25-year-old Parsons is a native of Lakeville, Connecticut. He divided his 1964 pitching between the Pirates Columbus farm in the International League and the Oklahoma City Club of the Pacific Coast League. He won 2, lost 2 in 10 games at Columbus, won 6, lost 4 through September 12th at Oklahoma City. So Tommy Parsons will join the Mets in San Francisco. Willie Davis up, and the pitch is low for a ball. Charlie Smith protecting against the bunt, playing in on the edge of the grass at third base. Mets 4, Dodgers 3, going to the bottom half of the 7th, and Willie Davis asks that umpire Ed Sudol examine the ball. He does, takes it out of play. Jack Fisher's been in all the way for the New York Mets. There's a swing and a ground ball top to first. A big hop to Crane throw, waves Fisher off, makes the play unassisted. Willie Davis is grounded out to first base. There's 1 away, and Tommy Davis is coming up. He tripled to right center to drive in 2 Dodger runs in the first inning. He lined to right in the third. Hit into a force play in the 5th. Temperature here in Los Angeles today in the 80s. Warm and sunny. And the pitch is low for a ball. One-0 delivery. Slip pitch outside. It's 2-0. Pitch that's in there for a called strike, 2-1, as Tommy Davis laid off, and it caught an outside corner. Double barrel action in the Met bullpen. Here's a pitch swung on, hit on the ground, foul. Down back of first. Joe Becker, the coach at first, spinning around to get out of the way. Left-hander Bill Hunter is throwing in the bullpen for the Mets, and right-hander Dennis Rybant is throwing for the Mets. Here is a 2-2 pitch. Swung on and hit in the air to right field. Joe Christopher is there. Underneath, and he makes the catch. 2-away, nobody on base. That will bring up Ron Fairley. He was on an error by Bobby Klaus on the ground ball in the 5th. Otherwise, grounded out and fouled out. Pitch is in for a called strike. Breaking balls hit on the ground, foul back to first. Joe Becker feels that one. It ran up his arm. He made the second grab. 2-strike count to Fairley. We're in the bottom half of the 7th inning, and the Mets are leading the Dodgers by a score of 4-3. Mets will be at Candlestick Park in San Francisco on Tuesday night and Wednesday afternoon. Then they'll move on to Houston, Texas for a weekend series against the Houston Colt 45. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night.
A 2-strike delivery. Missed outside. It's 1-2. Jack Fisher into the motion. And the pitch just missed outside. 2-2. Jack had taken 1 stride toward the dugout. He thought he was going to get a called strike 3 there, but not quite. Shot instead is level. 2-2 to Ron Fairley. And Fisher with a 2-2 pitch. Swung on it on the ground to third. Charlie Smith has it. The long throw across is in time. Fairley has grounded out. The sides retired in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. Score at the end of 7 full innings is the Mets 4 and the Dodgers 3. All right, Ralph. Joe Christopher's up to lead off for the Mets. Pitch is in for a called strike. Joe had a triple off Drysdale in the top of the 4th. Otherwise fouled out to first and flied out to center field. The big Dodger right-hander deals. Pitch is low for a ball. 1-1. Ball hit down in the dirt, rolled away, so Sudol is examining the ball, and he's sort of working on it a little bit. He's going to leave it in play after he is through wiping it off thoroughly. Ron Peronowski, the left-hander, up and throwing again in the Dodger bullpen. Here's a pitch swung on and fouled off. 1-2 to Joe Christopher. Candlestick Park going to the bottom half of the 8th inning. It is still the Phillies 1 and the Giants 1. 1-2 pitch to Christopher. Swung on, lined into right, and it's going to drop in there for a base hit. It is one out by Frank Howard, played back in. Christopher has his 2nd hit of this ball game off Drysdale. It's a leadoff single here in the top of the 8th. And George Altman is coming up. Grounded out, single to left to drive in a run, and grounded out. Mets lead 4-3, so the Dodgers have to protect here against the possibility of the sacrifice. Larry Elliott is on deck. Fairley holds against the runner at first. Left-hand batter up there. Here's the pitch high and away for a ball. Drysdale off the stretch. Altman squares, bunts the ball, and Drysdale will get it. He'll have to go to first, and he does to Trasuski covering. The sacrifice is effected, going 1-4 if you're scoring, and it moves Christopher to second base. Left-hand batter Larry Elliott coming up. Slide to left, pop to first, and pop to second.
Larry Elliott, center field.
And Elliott asks that Sudol examine the baseball. Drysdale checks Christopher at second. Deals to Elliott, and the pitch is in for a call, strike 1. Jesse Gander moves out to the on-deck circle. Again, Christopher takes his lead. Strike 1 pitch, and this is low for a ball. It's 1-1. The Mets 4 runs on 6 hits. The Dodgers 3 runs on 6 hits. Now Drysdale with the 1-1 pitch. Fired inside low, and Roseboro had to lean way over to scoop that one up. 2-1.
Final score in the National Football League, the Minnesota Vikings have defeated the Baltimore Colts 34-24, and that is the final score. Two-one pitch to Elliott. In there for a called strike. It's 2-2. Elliott backs out of the batter's box. Drysdale set. 2-2 pitch. And it's low. A full count of 3-2, and that ball is down in the dirt. And again, Elliott asked that umpire Sudol look at the ball. Sudol is rubbing it off and leaves it in play. So we'll have a payoff pitch here from Don Drysdale to Larry Elliott with one man out and a runner at second base. 3-2 delivery. Swung on, hit in the air to left field, down the line, over near the wall, and Tommy Davis comes into foul territory and makes the catch. Christopher holding at second as Tommy Davis came speeding across the line into foul territory down the left field corner and made the catch. Two away, and catcher Jesse Gander is coming up for the Mets. He has grounded out pitcher to first, walked, and later scored, and struck out swinging. John Roseboro calls time and goes out to have a word with Dodger pitcher Don Drysdale. Drysdale has won 17 games so far. Last year he won 19. The year before that he won 25. One of the top hands in the major leagues, Don Drysdale. Against the Mets this year, he's won 4 games. He has lost none, and he has shut the Mets out in 2 of them. But right here at this point, the Mets are leading by a score of 4-3, and this the final meeting of the season between the Dodgers and the Mets. Drysdale off the stretch to Gander, and it's swung on and fouled off right off the end of the bat, out of play. Strike one count to Gander. We're in the top half of the 8th inning. Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California. Ken Drysdale sets and deals. Pitch is swung on, hit on the ground to shortstop. Maury Wills has it across to Fairley, and the side is out. Broken back ground ball. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, 1 left, and the score at the end of 7.5 innings is the Mets 4 and the Dodgers 3. Well, you know, everybody talks about the good old days, and now Rheingold brings them back in style. That's the New York World's Fair. Yes, sir, Rheingold's Little Old New York is a nostalgic recreation of a corner of New York City as it was in 1904. A contrast to the strange and wonderful jet-faced sights you'll see at most of the other fair exhibits. Why don't you make it your own private oasis every time you visit the fair? When your feet are tired, when you're hungry or thirsty, just head right for Rheingold's Little Old New York. Right across from the spectacular Fountain of the Planet. You'll find tasty snacks and fine meals, old-fashioned, moderate prices. You'll find a relaxing Village Green, and you'll also find your favorite beer. Refreshing Rheingold Extra Dry. So enjoy the real old-fashioned hospitality of Rheingold's Little Old New York whenever you're at the World's Fair. Big Frank Howard comes out of the Dodger dugout, lumbering up to the plate to lead off for the Dodgers. Frank struck out swinging, was called out on strikes and walked so far in this game. Dodgers batting in the bottom of the 8th. In the National League today, St. Louis Cardinals beat the Chicago Cubs 15-2, and the Cincinnati Reds beat the Milwaukee Braves 9-2. Pittsburgh is at Houston tonight. Through 8 innings, Phils and the Giants tied 1-1. Here's a pitch low into the dirt. Ball 1.
to big Frank Howard. The Mets leading by 1 run. The score is 4-3. Jack Fisher deals. Pitches in there for a called strike as Howard started forward and laid off the pitch. Now a 1-1 delivery. Swung on and missed the strike, too. He took the big cut that time. Howard settles himself in again. Jack Fisher into the easy motion. 1-2 pitch fired low and away for a ball. 2-2. Fisher, for a moment, pauses, stares into the outfield, now turns slowly to look in for a sign from catcher Jesse Gander. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Swung on, hit deep to center. It's way back, going, and this one is at the wall. A home run for Frank Howard at the 4-10 time. Frank Howard with his 23rd home run of this season. Just into the corner of the bleachers, across the 410-foot sign, and the score is tied 4-4. Larry Elliott went right to the wall and jumped, but that one was several rows deep in the bleachers. That is Howard's first home run against the New York Mets this season. That completes the cycle. He has now homered against every team in the National League. Until that moment, he had homered against everybody but the New York Mets, but he took care of that little deficiency right there. John Roseboro will be coming up. Nobody out and nobody on. Double barrel action in the Met bullpen now. Bill Hunter, the left-hander, Dennis Rybat, the right-hander. The Mets 4 and the Dodgers 4, and this is the bottom half of the 8th inning. There's a swing and a foul ball, back and out of play for strike 1. And the crowd has come alive here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Jack Fisher's pitch swung on and missed. 2-strike count. And the pitch is in there for a call. Strike 3. Strikeout number 5 for Fisher as he caught Roseboro looking. One away, on second baseman Dick Tracewski is coming up. Extra Dry Brewing tells you why Rheingold is as good to your taste as it is to your thirst. Rheingold after Rheingold. Tracewski is a right-hand batter, hitting .256 with 1 home run and 24 runs batted in. Fisher's pitch is hit in the air to short right field. Klaus is backpedaling. He is calling, and he one-hands the ball with Christopher backing him up. 2 away, and pitcher Don Drysdale will be the batter now for the Dodgers. Single, struck out. And here's a hand for big Don Drysdale. Fisher with the pitch, and it's swung on and looped into left, and it'll be in there for a base hit. Hoffman retrieves it, plays it in, and Drysdale has his second hit of this ballgame. He becomes potential tying run on base at first with 2 men out, or rather potential go-ahead run. The score is tied 4-4. Maury Wills coming up. Wills is nothing for 4 in this game. Grounded out second to first, popped to short. Grounded out second to first and popped to short. Manager Casey Stengel is going to the mound, and he wants the left-hander. That is the indication. Won't make much difference, really, about Maury Wills. He's a switch hitter, and he's followed by Jim Gilliam, who's another switch hitter. And now pitching coach Mel Harder calls Ed Cranepool over, the first baseman, to talk to him in front of the dugout. The sign has gone to the bullpen for the left-hander. Two men out, a runner at first here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. So Bill Hunter comes through the gate and comes marching in here. Jack Fisher has worked 7 2/3, has allowed 4 runs on 8 hits. He has struck out 5 and walked 3. Casey Stengel is still there at the mound with Fisher. Fisher tosses the ball over and starts for the dugout now. Hunter was obtained by the Mets from the Dodger organization year before last. Casey Stengel filling him in on the situation. He gets checked out with Gander. At Candlestick Park in Philadelphia, they have completed Candlestick Park in San Francisco. They have completed 8 innings. The Phillies won and the Giants won. So they're going to the 9th, all tied, 1-1. Right here, we're all tied. The Mets 4 and the Dodgers 4. 2 men out for the Dodgers batting in the bottom half of the 8th inning. In National Football League action today, the Philadelphia Eagles defeated the New York Giants 38-7. Joe Kuharich, the new coach of the Eagles, did a lot of trading in the offseason, and in their opener, they have defeated the Giants 38-7. The Cleveland Browns beat the Washington Redskins, who also did a lot of trading in the offseason, by a score of 27-13. And the Los Angeles Rams defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers 26-14. The Minnesota Vikings defeated the Baltimore Colts 34-24. Those were all final scores. And the Green Bay Packers defeated the Chicago Bears 23-12. The end of the half, the Detroit Lions 16 and the San Francisco 49-7. The American Football League, the Buffalo Bills defeated the Kansas City Chiefs 34-17. At the end of the half, the Boston Patriots 7 and the Oakland Raiders 7. Last night, the New York Jets got off to a big start before a big crowd at Shea Stadium, defeating the Denver Broncos. Right now, Maury Wills is up, batting right-handed against left-hander Willard Hunter. Drysdale takes his lead at first. Cranepool plays behind the runner. The pitch is in for a called strike to Maury Wills. Bill Hunter making his 33rd game appearance. He has a record of 3 wins and 1 loss. Swinging a foul ball. Foul on the right field line. The Phillies did not score in the top of the 9th, so the Giants are coming up. Bottom half of the 9th in San Francisco, tied 1-1 with the league-leading Phils. Bill Hunter, with his 3-1 record, won 2 of those games on the same day. He got credit for victories in both ends of a doubleheader over the Chicago Cubs, when the Mets pulled them both out in sudden death, won the 10th and won the 9th. 2-strike delivery to Wills, and it's a little high for a ball, 1-2. Willard Hunter has struck out 14 and walked 5. He set, checks the runner over at first base, and here's a 1-2 pitch, and he's called out on strike. So Hunter comes in to get a strikeout. Will started to go laid off, was caught looking, and the Dodgers got a run. 2 hits, no errors, 1 left, and the score at the end of 8 full innings is the Mets 4 and the Dodgers 4. Tomorrow's an off day. The Mets will be at San Francisco then for 2, and then to Houston for the weekend series, coming home to Shea Stadium in New York on
Tuesday night, September 22nd, against the St. Louis Cardinals, and again on Wednesday afternoon against the Cardinals. And then the Cincinnati Reds will be in for a final weekend series. It'll be 5 games on 3 dates. On Friday night, September 25th, a twilight doubleheader starting at 6 p.m. between the Reds and the Mets. The Saturday afternoon game, September 26th, is a Ladies' Day attraction, and then Sunday afternoon, a doubleheader between the Mets and the Cincinnati Reds, and that is the final date for the Mets at Shea Stadium this season. Tickets are now on sale for all those games. Right now, we're going to pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
WGY, WGFM Schenectady. For baseball, for the best in music, for comprehensive, reliable news reporting, stay tuned to WGY and WGFM.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Gander and Bob Murphy at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California, where the Mets will bring up Charlie Smith to lead off. He had the 3-run homer that put the Mets temporarily out in front. That was in the top half of the 4th inning. Don't forget that preceding that night game of the Cardinals at Shea Stadium on Tuesday, September 22nd, there'll be an Olympic home run hitting contest that'll feature pro athletes from every major sport except baseball, and they'll be dressed in the uniforms which they wear in their sport. And it should be a lot of fun, quite an event. Tennis player Billy Talbot will be there, among others. Here is the pitch, and it's in for a called strike to Charlie Smith. Charlie fouled out to first, hit a 3-run homer into center field, and struck out swinging. Breaking ball in there for a call, strike 2 to Charlie Smith. He questions the call of umpire Ed Sudol. Drysdale starts the motion. Swung on and foul back out of play. Count holds at 2 strikes. Charlie Smith is having a little set to with umpire Ed Sudol right now. Sudol pausing before throwing a new ball out to Drysdale until he could hear Charlie Smith out. He wanted to hear the last of that summons, apparently. There's something in the early part of it that got his attention. Two-strike count, and it's fired high for a ball. 1-2. Roy McMillan waiting on deck. We're in the top half of the 9th inning here at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California. A 1-2 pitch, and it's in for a called strike 3. Caught him looking, and he knew it. He marches to the dugout. Strikeout number 4 for Drysdale. Roy McMillan is the batter. Looped a single to right, was hit by a pitch ball and walked. So McMillan has been on base 3 times in this game. It's a swing and a drive deep to left. It's way back, but Tommy Davis is there, and he hauls it down to the out. 2 men out, and Willard Hunter is coming out of the dugout, peeling off the jacket now. Going to bat for himself here in the top half of the 9th inning. This is his first time to come to bat this season. It has been said that a relief pitcher doesn't bat much, and he's not going to bat here because he's called back now, puts the jacket back on, and Jim Hickman is going to bat for Willard Hunter. Well, Willard is in his 33rd game and hasn't been at bat yet. This is as close as he has come to being at bat this season. He got 1 step beyond the on-deck circle, and that was it.
Now, Lindsey, with that many times not being at bats, I'm wondering where home plate was from the dugout.
Yeah, it would be understandable if you started in the wrong direction. Now Jim Hickman's up as the Mets hope he can go for a long one with 2 men out here, and the pitch is inside for a ball. He led the Mets in home runs last year with 17. So far this year, Hickman has hit 10. Fouls this one off and out of play.
course, Charlie Smith today hit his 18th to lead the club with that number. One the count to Jim Hickman. The 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball high. 2-1 to Hickman. 2 men out. Nobody on base for the Mets. Batting in the top half of the ninth inning. The score tied. The Mets 4 and the Dodgers 4.
Viceroy taste the way you'd like a filter cigarette to taste. Not too strong
and not too light.
Viceroy's got the taste that's right. Not too strong or light. Viceroy's got the taste that's right. Viceroy taste the way you'd like a filter cigarette to taste. Not too strong
and not too light.
Viceroy's got the taste that's right.
Dennis Ryban strides jauntily into the mound to take over as Bill Hunter was removed for the pinch hitter. He pitched the third of an inning and struck out Maury Wills, allowing no runs, no hits. 1 strikeout, no walks, and it's Ryban now. The Dodgers will send up Jim Gilliam, Willie Davis, and Tommy Davis in the bottom half of the ninth inning. Ryban is making his 9th appearance since joining the Mets. He has a record of 1 win and 3 losses. He has pitched 42 and 1/3 innings to this point. Struck out 30 and walked 3. Jim Gilliam, of course, is a switch hitter, so he'll be batting left here against right-hander Dennis Ryban. The Dodgers have 4 runs on 8 hits and no errors. The Mets have 4 runs on 6 hits and 1 error. Jack Fisher, of course, cannot be the winner or loser in this ball game. So he will not in any case get his 11th win of the season, that for which he was hoping today.
Gilliam, third base.
Ryban wants another ball, and he gets it. And here is Ryban's first pitch. Low for ball 1. This young man is a bundle of energy and confidence, too, for that matter. Constantly moving around out there, looking for the sign now. Starts the motion. 1-0 pitch, and it's low for a ball. 2-0. So quickly he goes behind the junior Gilliam. Willie Davis waiting on deck. Bottom half of the ninth. Now the 2-0 pitch. And it's low for a ball. And pitching coach Mel Harder is up in the Met bullpen. Or rather, up in the Met dugout, signaling down to the bullpen. They want some action down there. Manager Casey Stengel moving around in the Met dugout. Rybat's gone behind 3-0. This one is low, and he has walked Gilliam, a leadoff walk. In the bottom half of the ninth inning. Bill Wakefield is up and throwing now in the bullpen for the Mets. Well, in a ball game that is tied against a club that likes to run and runs bases well, issuing a leadoff walk in the bottom of the ninth is not the best way to long life and good health. Willie Davis, left-hand batter, squares, and the pitch is low off the glove of Gander, moves back, and Gilliam moves to second base. It's a wild pitch charged against Rybat. So Willie Davis was squared in the bunting position, but didn't have to bunt to get the runner to second, as he has moved there on the wild pitch. So now Rybat really has his work cut out for him in a situation that is of his making. He walked Gilliam on 4 pitch balls, and on the 5th pitch he is thrown, it was a wild pitch that allowed Gilliam to go to second. Here's a 1-0 pitch, and Davis squares, bunts the ball down the first baseline. Cranepool has it. He'll have to go to first, and he does not get it there in time. As Klaus came over to cover, and the play was handled cleanly, but Willie Davis beat it out, and Jim Gilliam moved on to third. Cranepool came up, took a long look at third, and when Willie Davis is running down the first baseline, you don't have time to look. It'll be scored as a base hit on the bunt. Now Tommy Davis is coming up. The potential winning run is in scoring position at third base now with Willie Davis at first and nobody out. Dodgers batting in the bottom half of the ninth inning. Tommy Davis tripled to drive in 2 runs in the first inning, line to right, hit into a forced play and flag to right. Mets have to bring the infield in. They have to bring the outfield in as well here. Runners at first and third. No point in playing the outfielders deep because on a fly ball deep, the runner would tag and score and the game would be over anyway. So they're going to walk Tommy Davis intentionally to load the bases. Has to set up a force at home. It'll be Ron Fairley coming up. Here's the pitch outside ball 2. Tommy Davis is being intentionally walked to load the bases. There's nobody out. Fairley swinging those bats as he strides up. It's ball 3 now. And here is ball 4. So Tommy Davis goes to first. Ron Locke is up and throwing in the Met bullpen now, along with Bill Wakefield. Willie Davis moves to second. Jim Gilliam holds at third. Tommy Davis on at first, and left-hand batter Ron Fairley is coming up. Met outfielders are being moved in even closer now. And Gander goes out to talk to Rybat. Infield in, outfield in. What a spot for young Dennis Rybat. Dodgers have 4 runs on 9 hits. The Mets have 4 runs on 6 hits. But the Dodgers are making a big bid here in the bottom half of the ninth inning. George Altman in left is being waved in even more, but he hasn't seen the signal yet. Now he moves in a half step. And here is the pitch. Swung on, hit on the ground at first. Cranepool knocks it down, can't handle it. The run scores and the game is over. As Gilliam comes on from third, it was a little dribbler down to Cranepool. He is charged with an error on the ball. Cranepool was trying to swing around to get in position to throw so that he dropped the ball. Made no play, and all hands were safe. Gilliam scored from third. Nobody out when the winning run was scored, and the Dodgers have won it by a score of 5-4. As Jim Gilliam was walked on 4 pitch balls by Dennis Rybat, moved to second. On the wild pitch, moved on to third when Davis bunted and beat it out for a base hit. And then Gilliam scored on the error committed by Cranepool. So the Dodgers have defeated the Mets by a score of 5-4. And to tell you something of how they did it, here's Ralph Kiner.